I didn't wake up one day feeling lost. That's what makes this hard to explain. My life was working. Everything functioned the way it was supposed to. I had a routine, responsibilities, a reason to get out of bed, and yet something was missing. Not dramatically, not painfully, just quietly. That's the kind of emptiness no one warns you about. When your life doesn't fall apart, it just stops feeling meaningful. I kept telling myself I was tired, that it was stress, that everyone feels this way eventually, but tiredness goes away with rest. This didn't. I wasn't unhappy. I was numb. Days started blending together, not because they were bad, but because they were identical. Wake up, work, solve problems that reappeared the next day, eat, sleep, repeat, and slowly, without noticing, my life turned into maintenance. I wasn't building anything anymore. I was just keeping things from falling apart. No one talks about how dangerous that phase is, because from the outside, you look stable. People assume you're fine, and you start assuming it too. I stopped asking myself real questions, not because I had answers, but because I was afraid of what I might discover. Purpose requires honesty, and honesty can be disruptive. It can force you to admit that the life you carefully built doesn't actually belong to you anymore. So instead, I stayed busy. Busy is a wonderful distraction. It gives you movement without direction, motion without meaning. I told myself that purpose was something people figure out later, that one day it would click. But years passed, and nothing clicked. What I didn't understand then is that purpose doesn't arrive on its own. It erodes when ignored. You don't lose it suddenly. You lose it by postponing yourself, by choosing comfort over curiosity, by choosing stability over honesty, by convincing yourself that wanting more somehow makes you ungrateful. There's a lie we tell adults, that meaning is optional, that as long as your life works, you shouldn't question it. But a life that only works eventually stops feeling like a life. I remember the moment I realized this wasn't just a phase. I was standing in my kitchen, doing something I'd done 1,000 times before, and I felt absolutely nothing. No sadness, no joy, just absence. That scared me more than pain ever did. Pain at least tells you something matters. Emptiness tells you you've disconnected from yourself, from your instincts, from the part of you that once cared deeply. I realized then that I had slowly traded meaning for predictability, and predictability is comfortable, but it's also numbing. No one tells you that you can survive life and still miss it entirely, that you can do everything right and still feel like something essential never showed up. If you're listening to this and you feel quietly disconnected, not broken, just distant from yourself, you're not alone, and you're not weak. You're responding normally to a life that stopped asking anything of you except endurance. Purpose doesn't demand perfection. It demands attention, and attention is the first thing we sacrifice when life gets comfortable enough to stop questioning. I wish someone had told me this earlier. A life that only functions is not the same as a life that feels alive. I didn't lose my purpose in a single moment. I misplaced it, slowly, carefully, almost